Hello. Hi there. Welcome back.
Hi, welcome.
Just shutting down my Verbling page because it gives a kind of echo. Yeah. Where are you from?
I'm from Saudi Arabia.
And have you been on Verbling very long?
No, this is, I think, third time for me.
How's it going? Do you like it at all?
Yes, I like so much. It
Great.
makes my English improving now.
Yes, it's good fun, and it's nice to see people together in a group. And work
Yes,
with
and
people.
yes, and share with us with them different culture, and I know a lot of them.
So, how long have you been learning English then?
What?
How long have you been learning English?
I think actually 2 years. I think.
Wow, that's great then. You've learnt a lot in 2 years.
Yeah, but not so much. I'm gonna to go to bridge next summer.
Do you know where you will go? Do you know
What?
which city? Do you know which city you will go to?
Yes, Manchester.
Yes, I used to work in Manchester some years ago.
Where are you from? You Britain?
Well, yeah, but I'm not really from the north. I'm from the south, from the southeast.
Oh, where? Wales or?
No, the other side. That's
Uh,
in England. I'm in England, but
uh,
not in the southeast. So go to London and then further southeast towards
beside
France.
Oxford. It's near from Oxford.
It's not near Oxford, no. It's quite far from Oxford because Oxford is more west of London. But my place
I think
is
it's the dist. I think the distance between the Oxford and London 1 hour by bus. I think or
yeah, and
by
I'm on the
train.
other side of London. So I
Uh,
live on the other side, southeast. Oxford
uh,
is on the way to Birmingham and the Midlands from London.
I don't know.
Yeah,
What do you do? You're
Manchester.
a teacher or?
Yeah, most of the time. Yeah, I do a lot of different things. So
Mm.
I do teach quite a lot of the
Uh,
time.
uh,
Yes.
do you know Kaplan College?
No. Where is
So,
that?
this is Kaplan College International.
It's
So,
an English school.
yes, English school.
No, I've never worked there. I don't know it. I hope it's
Mm,
good.
you can't find out.
Well, yeah, some schools are much better than others, actually. Some schools
Yeah,
are a lot better than others. So I hope your school is good.
the famous school, I think, Cambridge.
Cambridge, yeah,
Yeah,
Cambridge, like a train. Cambridge,
yeah,
Oxford, yes.
yes, Cambridge.
Well, yes, Cambridge is a much bigger place now than it used to be. So Cambridge, like York, were quite a lot smaller 20 years ago, but Cambridge
Ah,
is growing lots of industry there as well. So it's growing quite a lot. But the centre is still the same
mm-hmm,
with bridges and old buildings. And Oxford has some
uh-huh.
very beautiful old buildings as well.
Sorry,
Now
it's
today, I
your
sorry.
sound. I can't.
Yeah, sometimes the connection is not great. Sometimes
Your
the sound is
sound
not good.
again.
Okay,
Yes,
I can hear you very well.
yes, now good.
Yeah, let me share my screen a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Screen share here. So
Okay.
this is the exercise we're going to look at just now. Now, this exercise is text. First of all, we're going to try and
Uh-huh.
read the text and understand it. But you see, there are 6 places marked. Number 1 here, number 2 here, number 3 here. We have to work together. Maybe having it open ourselves. We have to have it open ourselves. We need to try and find out which goes in. So we've got some possibilities here to put in the text. So we've got all of those different possibilities, and we need to try to see if one of those goes in the text. So first of all, I'm going to paste a link. If you can open the link, that would be good. So try and open the link, please, for a moment. And then we will just get the general idea about what it is.
Let me see. The subject about what, teacher? Hello?
So can you see the title there? Do you know anything about this topic, about robots?
Robots.
Tell me something that you know about robots. What do you know about robots?
Robot. I think the automatically human or what?
And do you know why some people have a fear of robots? I've heard that some people are afraid of robots for the future. Do you know why people might not like robots?
I think you can use robot for help people.
Yeah.
It's good.
Does anybody else have any idea about robots?
I just know that they were made in Japan, maybe. In Japan, they make a lot of robots, I believe.
Yes, I agree with you.
Yes, in Japan they have so many robots in factories, more than all of the other countries. So they like to use robots in production. I've seen robots in the UK too. I've seen Ford Motor Company using robots in the UK.
But you asked why people would have a fear of robots. I think why would people afraid of robots? I don't think that they would be afraid of.
Well, do you have any idea about
they
that?
will wrong place.
No, I have
I've
no
seen this
idea.
at the moment.
I
I've seen this more in yeah.
I found this question like weird. I don't know.
Well, I'm thinking not so much of fear of the robots in the factories, the robots we have today, but maybe a fear of the future development of robots. Maybe they have that kind of fear. Maybe they're worried about what might happen in the future with robots. Things like the film Matrix or something like that. Have you seen this kind of idea or heard about this fear? And some people have a fear of robots. Imagine that there was a robot in the future that looked exactly like a human being, like
Yeah, in some film.
like in some science
I
fiction
think
films.
I think they've already made one. I guess.
Well, maybe they have. I don't know anybody who's a robot.
I mean, that one's which helps people in hospitals and so. I've seen such stuff.
I think the robot was in the operation room, you know.
Yeah,
yes, that's what
something difficult for
I
humans.
meant.
Yes.
But if a robot is helping us and it's basically a machine, I wouldn't be scared of it. But I can imagine that if a robot looked exactly like another person and you walked into a room and you saw 2 doctors and 3 nurses and then suddenly you realised that the nurses were in fact robots, could it be scary?
Yes, scary and same
Yes,
time funny.
And there are some science fiction films where robots with their artificial intelligence and their computer brains somehow start to take over the world. and start to think that we shouldn't exist. So is everybody reading this? Because we need to just, first of all, read it through and even skip over the gaps. It's quite difficult to do this because we have to figure out for 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 and 6 what the letters are that go. So you need to have the page open so that you can work.
Yes, I open it.
Because the screen sharing is, you know, like this, up and down and up and down. So I think first of all we can read the text to see what it's all about, and then we can start asking people what they think the missing text is in 1,
Okay.
2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So let me post the link again, open the page and try that. So let me ask you first of all though, Mohammed, could you just read it through, and when you get to a gap just simply pause and read on, just to get some kind of idea of the text. Could you read it aloud?
Now?
Yeah, read it all aloud.
Okay. Report dream or nightmare. Members of the staff of the Franklin Institute in Philadelphia.
Yeah, you know, that is the Franklin Institute in Philadelphia. Philadelphia cheese is nice.
In
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
Yes, it's in the US, Philadelphia. The
Uh-huh.
Franklin Institute in Philadelphia. Okay, read
Philadelphia.
on then.
Okay. And where puzzled, the museum had acquired. I can say that's right. Acquired or
Acquired, yes. But you know,
acquired.
I want to say something about the word were, because if I say, where were you? Can you say that, please? Where were you?
Yes, I have problem there. With
Where
the
is
where,
chair? So
that-
where is chair, like that air,
with WH and in the past where.
and were is like bird. So just say chair bird, where were?
Where chair?
Chair, the word where is chair, where is the chair, were is bird. So
Uh-huh.
where were you?
Where were you?
Yeah, so let's read. The USA were puzzled. The museum had acquired, and then we skip there, but no one knew. So read on there, but no one knew.
Okay. Where is it? Here. But no one knew how old it was, who had made it, or exactly what it was meant to do. Once its missions. Missions.
Meant to do.
What?
What it was meant to do. Mean is in the present. I meant in the past.
Yes, what it was meant to do. Once its mechanism, yes, mechanism was restored. However, the
figure.
not silent. The figure wrote out a short poem in France, and early signed it with the words written by Maillard automation.
Automaton is a word which they used to use a long time ago for these kind of robots which didn't have
Automatic.
computers on, but they were
Yes.
automatons, yes.
This robot and other made by Henry Maillard in the early 19th century.
Okay, just stop there. So we don't know the gap then. Now let's ask another person to read now. That's good reading. So, so you there?
Yes, I'm
Usmej?
here. Yeah.
Are you on the mic there? Great. Can you
Yeah,
just
yeah.
continue then, please? So we're down to I'll just have to shift down the screen. I don't know if you have the page open.
Yes, I have the page.
If you do, then okay. So we're reading on from there then.
Right. Designed to mimic the actions of living creatures.
Design ed. Sorry, I'm stopping you straight away. Design ed. It's designed. You know
Right.
The best from design.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we don't have any eds in past forms. When we're using it as a verb, anyway, when we're using it as a past verb, we never say ed. The only time that happens, the ed sound, is when it's. Sometimes we do it with adjective forms, but for example, I've seen in court the learned gentleman. They do it that time sometimes for adjective forms, but if it's a verb in the past tense, we never say ed. We say designed. So try again there.
Designed to mimic the actions of living creatures. As long ago as the 2nd century BC, Hero of Alexandria wrote of a theatre made by mechanical performance. And
Okay, let's stop you again. 2 words there. So that one is manned. Like man the guns. Manned is controlled, or men operating. Manned by. And creatures. The EA is one sound. Creatures. Okay, so let's read on. Manned by mechanical performers and. Leonardo da Vinci. Let's read on from Leonardo da Vinci.
Leonardo da Vinci is said to have built a mechanical lion to greet the King of France on this visit to Milan in 1507.
But you know, I missed something very important. Just a moment. I missed a very important word. It's actually very important for the whole grammar structure. I'll show you. This word is very important. Why? If I miss it, and Leonardo da Vinci said to have, but is said to have, it changes the whole tense, meaning, and everything. With this word, it's the verb to be. What is the structure we have there?
In the past?
Right.
Well, said is past, but is said.
Built.
It's a passive kind of is said to have built. So if I miss out the is, then it changes the meaning. If I say Leonardo da Vinci said, that means he said those words. But Leonardo is not saying anything. Other people are saying this about him.
Yeah.
So Leonardo da Vinci is said to have. This is another form, isn't it? So it's very important, that word. Because Leonardo is not saying anything.
I know.
So can you go back to carry on and do that correctly there, please?
Yeah, sure. And Leonardo da Vinci is said to have built a mechanical lion to greet the King of France on his visit to Milan in 1507. To enter the 20th century did such inventions. The word first appeared in 1921 in a stage play about.
That's Czech, the country in English. Czech, like checkmate.
Czech play about rebellious humanoid machines.
Rebellious humanoid machines.
Rebellious
humanoid machines.
Humanoid machines.
Humanoid. Oi.
Humanoid.
Yeah, and
machines.
There's something else as well, because this word greet, not great, greet, to greet the King of France. Okay, humanoid machines. Let's read on there. And is derived.
And is derived from the Czech word for forced labor. It is mainly as helpmates. Mainly as helpmates throughout from fiction into the real world. In particular, they are used to perform many tasks too dangerous, difficult, or boring for humans. For example, robots have explored the wreck of the Titanic and a robot even. But the main use of robots has been in industry, in Japan, which employs twice as many robots as the rest of the world put together. One company has built a factory in which robots, but the dream or nightmare of the future is of robots which can build others' robots, a prospect that would open up such exciting possibilities as the exploration of deep space by machines. Okay?
What's wrong?
I think the teacher have some problems with the connection.
So
Yeah.
now we all
Yeah,
know
so-
what to do. We all know what to do, don't we? I'll post the link again, and I think we should all have a look and try to see if we can find the gaps. We need to fill those 6 gaps with these fillers. We've got fillers A to J. J is gone though because we've used it already. J has been used, look, as an example here. So J is gone. So we need to look at the other fillers and choose them for these places. So work on it now and tell me what you think, if you have any suggestions about those. So filler number 1, I'd like to go through first. So I'm going to leave it here until we find the answer. So what goes here? Can you find it for me? Find it and tell me what you think.
In the first space,
Yeah, what's your first space? Have a look and tell me what you think.
think it's
Have a
B.
good look. Have a good look and check it out.
I think for subject, it will be a subject here. Alright?
I think it's D.
Because after the space is a verb.
Okay, so write your choice in the Verbling chat and say the letter that it is, or cut and paste it into the Verbling chat with the letter choice, the one you think it is, and then we'll discuss them.
Okay.
See if you can cut the whole sentence in so that we don't have to keep scrolling the page. We can just see on one page view the answer. So put the whole sentence, cut it all into it. D, you say? Is it D? Let me check D and see if it makes sense. So I can't see what D is. You see, I have to move down to see what D is. D, that robots have found their way. So let me try reading that. This robot and others made by Henry Maillardet in the early 19th century, that robots have found their way, designed to mimic the actions of living creatures. That robots have found their way, designed to mimic the actions of living creatures. I can't quite make sense of that, really. So I'm not going for D. I think I'll wait for a better choice there. We've got B. Which could renew themselves. Well, look, we're starting a sentence, aren't we? In number 1, we're starting a sentence. So which could renew themselves looks like a clause to me, doesn't it? I think. So I'm not going for that one, thank you. we've got helps doctors to perform brain surgery. Which letter is that? Helps doctors to perform brain surgery. Doesn't look like the start of a sentence to me. I need one which looks like the start of a sentence. Come to be known as doctors. Come to be known as robots, sorry. Come to be known as robots. That doesn't look like the start of a sentence. Come to be known as robots designed to mimic the actions of living creatures. What is B, David? Can you post it in the Verbling chat so that we can read and check? Read it aloud, please, and check it. Let's see if it makes sense. So does D begin a sentence? Let's see. Could you read it for me? You read the whole sentence. So we're looking for a sentence beginning there and ending here that makes good sense in the text.
We have only D.
D?
Yeah.
You think D. So can you read the sentence then?
Right. That robots have found their way designed to mimic the actions of living creatures.
Creatures. So I have to move the screen down because I can't see D in the Verbling chat, so I have to move the screen down to see it. D. What is that doing there? That robots have found their way. So if the word that was not there, it might start a sentence better. Robots have found their way designed to found their way to be designed. I don't make it work. I can't find it working there. I can't get it to make a very good coherent sentence. So I'm going away from D. And also, D seems to fit very nicely somewhere else.
Right.
If you get stuck too long on number one, then just have a look for another one and tell me what you think.
How about H?
How about which?
H.
H?
Yeah.
Well, can you post H into the Verbling chat so that we can have it all in one conference, in one screen? H, which is H, because otherwise I'm always scrolling down. So H with the sentence as well. So Mimi has typed A, work night shifts all on their own, designed to mimic the actions of living creatures. Work night shifts. Imagine that sentence. Work night shifts all on their own, designed to mimic the actions of living creatures. Does it really make sense? I think it's a bit tricky, this one. I think we better move away from it and try number two and see if we can come back to number one, because I don't see the right answer for number two yet. So the sentence, we need to look at the whole sentence. Well, actually it's just there. Not until the 20th century did such inventions. This might be easier. So that, Osama, that looks like it's good there for two. Not until the 20th century did such inventions come to be known as robots. So is that H? That looks good. I think we should go for H there. 2H. Okay, so 2H. Yes. So we've got 2H. That's the only one we've got at the moment. That makes good sense. Not until the 20th century did such inventions come to be known as robots. So what were they known as before? Before silicon chips and computers, these kind of things which became robots had another name in this text. Automaton. So that's
Yes.
good. So 2H. Okay, so let's go to 3 then. It is mainly as helpmates, though. Now, I think that comma has to disappear. It is mainly as helpmates, though. From fiction into the real world. That looks like some kind of journey, doesn't it? From somewhere to somewhere else.
I think D.
You think what?
Maybe D. D.
Yeah, it's D.
D or B?
That robots have
Yeah.
have found their way.
Yeah, that really works well here, because finding your way from somewhere to somewhere else. So
Yeah.
that's really good. So we've got 2 now. So I say we've got 2 is H and 3 is D. I like that.
But teacher, please, I have a question. We have 10 preposition and we have only 6 to fill in.
Well, we only need to fill the 6 gaps. So we have to choose some of those. Some of those will be left unused.
Right.
So we're going to look at 4 now, gap 4. Okay. I'm going to highlight the actual sentence because the sentence is important. It's really a new sentence starting with but. Can't see the dot there, the full stop, but there should be a full stop there because there's a capital B. And you are allowed to start sentences with but. For example, robots have explored the wreck of the Titanic, and a robot even...
Yeah, it's F, man.
I think A.
We've got A and F to look at.
I think
The
A.
robot even helps doctors to perform brain surgery.
So let me read it F. I see F in the Verbling chat, so I can read that one. So, for example, robots have explored the wreck of the Titanic, and a robot even helped doctors to perform brain surgery. That makes a good sentence. And A, I don't even see the text for A in the Verbling chat, so I think F looks good. So 4, we'll go for F. So far we have 2, H, 3, D, 4, F. So we're 50% done. So let's move down to look at 5 and see what that might be. It's a big long sentence about Japan. We're looking at 5, aren't we? Yes, we're looking at 5. So let's try. Can you read your own sentences when you try them? Read them aloud and let's see how they work. Don't leave it all to me to read. Just, if you're in the room and you think you know it, then suggest it in voice and read it.
Right, can you read it now?
Yeah, let's try reading your sentence.
Right. In Japan, which implies
Well,
twice as many...
sorry, I'm just going to say one thing though. We've got countries like Japan and Brazil which have a stress at the end of the word. So try to say in Japan.
Right. In Japan, which employs twice as many robots as the rest of the world put together, one company has built a factory in which robots has been known to make the occasional mistake, but dream or nightmare.
There's a bit of a grammar problem, has been, because in which robots a robot has been known, but we've got plural here, robots, and it would have to be
Oh,
have
yeah.
been known.
Can I try one?
Yeah, try your sentence.
Okay, in Japan, which employs twice as many reports as the rest of the world put together, one company has built a factory in which reports may never learn to show human emotions.
It makes sense grammatically. And what letter was it?
It's
It's
G.
G.
Well, it makes grammatical
G.
sense, but I'm just thinking about whether it works contextually.
I think it's A.
Let's try A and see if that makes more sense contextually, you know, in the context of the actual article. Because yours, Sam, worked, but only grammatically. It seemed to be a little bit strange in the meaning. So let's try reading A. Somebody said.
A. So in Japan, which employs twice as many robots as the company has built the rest of the world put together the factory has built a company in which robots work night shifts all on their own.
That seems to make a little bit more sense in terms of the text and what
Can you
it's
hear me?
telling us. So I would go for that. Yes, I think I would go for that. So now we're getting there. So we've got 2H, 3D, 4F, 5A. I go for 5A too. That makes a lot of sense. So it's not just about grammar. We've got to use grammar as a kind of clue, but we have to check sometimes more than grammar. So we've got number 1 and number 6 to go. So let's move down to number 6 and see what that could be. Quite a long sentence. But the dream or nightmare of the future is of robots which can build other robots. So we're looking for something which is really in the future now. A prospect that would open up such exciting possibilities as the exploration of deep space by machines. So something that fits this sentence now. We can strike out the ones we've used. So there's not so many left. Does anybody have anything to try yet? We've also got number 1 to do as well. So we still need number 1.
And teacher, we have also number
Might be
0.
B.
0 is given as an example. 0 is J. So that's an
Oh,
example.
yeah.
So J is what seemed to be a mechanical doll. So the museum had acquired what seemed to be a mechanical doll, but no one knew how old it was. So that's been done. So we just need 1 and 6 now. And somebody said it might be something. Which might
Yes.
be? Are we looking at 6 or 1?
No, I mean 6.
6
Might be B.
might be B. Can you try reading it?
Yeah.
6.
Yeah.
So it starts with but the dream.
Okay. Yes, a prospect that would open up such a exciting, exact. What's that word? Would you repeat,
Exciting.
please? Exciting possibilities as the exploration of deep space by machines which could renew themselves unendingly. Unendingly, yeah.
That looks good. Yes, and it makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Because, you know, at the moment, those kind of robots we have today are not really doing that. They're just machines using robotics to do with movement and repeated movement. They're not so intelligent. But in the future, they may even be able to renew themselves. So we've got 6B, so we've only got one missing, really. So we've got 1 is, we don't know, 2 is H, we say this, 3 is D, we have to check the answers, 4 is F, 5 we think is A, and 6 we think is B. So now let's go up to have another look at 1. That's at the top. We got stuck on that one. We couldn't figure it out. So let's have another look at 1.
Teacher, can I ask you a question?
Of course, yes, it's a good time for that. I think it's a yes.
What is mimic?
If you mimic something, then you copy it. So, yeah, parrots mimic what you say.
Oh, it's like Snoop.
Mimic is really just to repeat exactly as somebody else does it.
Right, thank you.
So I suppose when we learn pronunciation, we should mimic. So I have some pages with some sentences read by different speakers from different parts of the world, and it's a good idea to copy them by just listening to what they say and then copying them. So mimicking is really that kind of copying, where you're really trying to imitate. Well, if we get this one, we've done everything. And then we can check the answers and try and read through and make sure we know how to say and how to pronounce all the words and what they all mean. So we just need this one, and then we can check through.
Yeah, one in place of one, can we go with E?
Let's try. Can you read it out, please, and see if it makes sense?
Yeah, E is the verb I know means the first mechanical devices.
What do you think, everybody? Let's see what it looks like. So you say E.
E.
E, yeah. So if I copy that, I'm going to put it into the chat with number 1. So first of all, I go to the chat. It starts the sentence. Paste, but don't hit the return button just yet. Go back to get the rest of it, and then let's have a look what that looks like all together, and then we can read it and see if it sounds good. So now the rest of it, there it goes. Just a moment, I think I've got the wrong one, because were by no means the first mechanical devices designed to mimic the actions of living creatures. It looks good, but there's something missing, isn't there? But I think you're right, but we need to fix it somehow. So I don't think we can start the sentence with were by no means. Others made by Henry Maillardet in the early 19th century. There's a full stop there, which shouldn't be there, I think. After 19th century, I'm going to have to remove that full stop because then E is the answer.
Yeah.
So before 1, we have a full stop, which is actually a mistake.
Yeah.
So yes, E does look good. It makes a lot of sense. Let me see what the answers are then, and then we can check. So can't see the answers right now. Just a moment. Let me see if I can get the answers another way. No, they are the right answers. I've just checked with my hard copy, and they are the right answers. So let's see if we can remember those answers and try and read through it once more. So yeah, I can't actually put the answers on the screen right now, but those are the right answers. So let's just make sure we've got the right answers. So we've got 1 was E, and 2 was H, and 3 was D, and 4 F, and 5
E.
A, okay, and 6. So let's try and read again. So hello, how do I say your name? Ises. Essie. Are you there on the mic, Ises? Ooch is on the mic anyway. Yeah, sorry, did you say hello there? I just heard something. No, I heard Tia. Tia, I can hear your voice, but it's really quiet.
So yes, I am here.
It is quiet, yes. Very, very difficult to hear what you're saying at the moment, actually. So,
Okay.
Ush, are you there? Ushme.
Yes, I'm here.
So would you like to try and read it through without and fill the gaps as we go this time?
Right.
So let's go from the top and see if we can fill in all the gaps.
Right. Robots dream all
I'm going to stop you straight away because you're saying robo. Robo King is, well, robots. So it's a O-R. It's a very good word for the phone and clock sound problem. So phone, clock, this is a common merger. And here, in one word, we've got both of those sounds, robots. So it's a nice word to practice for O and O. So let's start again. Robots, dream or nightmare?
Robots dream or nightmare. Members of the staff of the Franklin Institute in Philadelphia, USA were puzzled the museum had acquired. Puzzled the museum had acquired. But no one knew how old it was, who had made it, or exactly what it was meant to do. Once its mechanism.
Get that at the beginning. Mechanism.
Once its mechanism was.
You've got that on the second syllable again. You said mechanism. Machine is on the second, but mechanism is not on the second. This is a common situation, you know, where you have different forms of a word. They are separated to the listener by changing that pattern. So we've got machine and mechanism.
Once its mechanism was restored, however, the figure wrote out a short poem in French, and earlier sent it with the words written by Miard automaton. This
Robot, yeah.
robot
And it's a
and
figure.
others,
The figure wrote out. Figure.
right. The figure wrote out a short poem in French and earlier sent
Not earlier,
it
but
with,
eerily. Eerily is like spooky. You know, spooky. Eerily.
yeah, and early sent it with the words written by Miard.
Signed. Sign it. Sign it with your name. Can I have your signature? Sign.
Signed it with the words written by Miard automaton. This robot, sorry, this robot and others made by Henri Miard in the
Yeah, in
early.
French he might be called Henri, but we can call him Henry in English, can we? Unless we say Henri, because if he's French, then he wouldn't be Henri. He would be Henri, but without any H at all.
Right.
Okay. Anyway, let's go past him.
In the early 19th century, were by no means the first mechanical devices designed to mimic the actions of living creatures. Creatures as long ago as the 2nd century BC. Hero of Alexandria wrote a theatre named by mechanical performance.
Manned by. That means that the humans were not operating it, but it was manned by mechanical performers.
Right. Manned by mechanical performance. And Leonardo da Vinci is said to have built a mechanical lion to greet the King of France on his visit to Milan in 1507.
1507. Yeah. If you're going to say France in a kind of American accent like France, don't go too far to make it France, because it shouldn't be at all. So you can say France or France, but you can't say France. That slips off the edge of the scope that you're allowed with that sound. So you can
say France.
France is okay. That sounds a bit like an American accent, but that's fine. I can understand that. But when you go too far, slip off the American side of it, then it turns into a wrong sound. So France is not good. So France is okay. I can understand that, and I can understand France as well, but I can't understand French. So France, okay?
The King of France of his visit to Milan in 1407.
Milan is like Japan. Milan.
Right.
Yucatan. Every woman, every man. Milan. Japan.
Right. His visit to Milan in 1507.
1507. Say 1507, because if there's an O, if there's a 7, you can't say 1507. You can say 1507 or 1507.
Right, 1507. Not until the 20th century did such inventions come to be known as robots.
Come to be known. I want the known. No. You said no without the n, without the un at the end. Known.
Right, come to be known as robots. The word first appeared in 1921 in a Czech play about rebellious.
Yep. Rebellious humanoid machines. Rebellious humanoid machines.
Rebellious humanoid machines, and is derived from the Czech word for forced labor. It is mainly
not manually, mainly.
Right.
Mainly, yes.
It's mainly as helpmates throughout.
Though, it's mainly as helpmates, though. Take the comma away from helpmates, so just it's mainly as helpmates, though.
It's mainly as helpmates throughout.
Not through, it's though. You know, though. This word, though, is like a kind of surprise, like, although but though can be at the end of a clause. It's
Right.
mainly as helpmates, though, that...
It's mainly as helpmates, though, that robots have found their way from fiction, Titanic, and a robot, even...
You jumped. You
Yes.
jumped the text. So
even
you've jumped. Go back to from
Oh.
fiction into the real
from
world.
fiction
and then
into
you've
the
jumped.
real world. In particular, they are used to perform many tasks too dangerous, difficult, or boring for humans. For example, robots have explored the wreck of Titanic.
That's
and
the Titanic. You know, ships have an article, the Titanic, the QE2, the. So you know, that was interesting because we were reading about Amelia Earhart, and in the text it said somebody was captain of the Roosevelt. Roosevelt is a president, and when we
Yes.
saw the Roosevelt, we know it's a ship because the Titanic, the Roosevelt. So if it's just the president, then he's just Roosevelt or President Roosevelt. But if it's the President Roosevelt, then it must be a ship. So the Titanic.
Right. The Titanic and robot even were by no means the first mechanical devices, but the main use of robots has been in industry. In Japan, which employs twice as many robots twice as many robots as the rest of the world put together. One company has built a factory in which robots
Yeah.
work night shifts, all on their own, but the dream or nightmare of the future is of robots which can build other robots, a prospect that would open up such exciting possibilities as the exploration of deep space by machines
Right.
which
Yeah.
could renew themselves indefinitely.
In what? Unendingly. Unendingly.
Unendingly.
I thought you said indefinitely. That's another word meaning the same thing. Unendingly, indefinitely. Yeah, very, very good work. That's a pretty difficult exercise. You have to concentrate and you have to really figure out what's going on. So that's advanced work, and you did it. Well, you all did it, so that's pretty good. I must say that's well done. It's not easy. Well done. Okay, so I'm going to finish the lesson and then go and start another lesson where we're going to practice some speaking with Taboo. So hope you can join me for that. So
Right, thank you,
see you in a
teacher.
moment. Thank you.
Yeah,
Bye.